G'day and welcome back to Campr. We're in Longreach on a caravanning holiday through Queensland's Outback. Me feeling like the king of the road in the 70 Series Land Cruiser towing the Jayco Journey Outback. And whilst this caravan goes all right, our friends Pete and Julie from Lady Elliot Island are just about to turn up here in Longreach in their caravan, which is slightly faster than ours. Their Cessna Caravan, which is about to touch down here at Longreach Airport.
So nice that you're here.
Yeah, it's so good that you're here.
No, we shake hands like this.
Hello mate, how are you?
What's this growing here, mate?
So let me tell you a little bit about Peter Gash. Only a couple of days ago, given the Order of Australia. So I don't know whether that means he's a knight now, whether I should call him Sir and Julie Lady. If you've ever been to Lady Elliot Island, then you'll know a bit about Peter Gash. He is a custodian, I reckon, of the Great Barrier Reef and loves a bit of an adventure as well. So it's really nice that they can spend a couple of days out here with us and have a look at what's going on out west. As owner, pilot and chief engineer of Sea Air Aviation based on the Gold Coast, Pete's other great passion is obviously planes, and they just so happen to have a few parked up here for people to take a look at. The Longreach 747 Qantas Jumbo has been turning heads out this way for years. The stories of how these aircraft came to be here are incredible in themselves. If it's been a while since you've been to Longreach, you'll notice that the Qantas Founders Museum outdoor exhibits, which include the Jumbo, 707 and Constellation aircraft, have now been protected from the elements by a structure that the locals have affectionately labelled the carport. This massive structure is now home to yet another surprise, and after waiting for the sun to set, we've been invited by museum CEO Tony Martin to witness Longreach's latest and greatest tourism attraction.
The performance is about 22 minutes. Tonight we're sitting on about 40 people, and you've got the room to move around, and you do see different things from different angles within, and certainly the sound.
Luminaid has Tony and the rest of town absolutely buzzing, a high-energy light and sound show that has to be seen to be believed.
The traditional custodians of these lands have for thousands of years used the stars as a map to navigate the sky.
Luminaid puts the wide-body Jumbo to good use as a canvas.
As you can see, the 747 is big, really big.
For a very clever sensory experience, which you're going to love. I know Peter did.
So glad you got me here tonight to see this.
Yeah.
I could not have imagined how good this was going to be. The sound, the sights, the lights, the story, the history, the ambience of being surrounded by all these big aircraft. Whether you're an aviator or not, this place is something every Australian has to come and see.
Qantas' story is such a beauty, it's such a great yarn, it's 100 years old this year, and to see something like that, it really is fantastic.
Oh, seriously took my breath away, seriously blew me away here tonight. I had no concept of what an extraordinary thing this is, and the man who's visualised it, he should be given a medal, one of those little gold medals, seriously, because it's a really special thing for Australia and Australians, for Qantas, for Longreach, for Queensland. Man, how good.
Yeah, for the Outback, another tick.
Yeah, another big tick.
After all of that excitement, it's a light show of another kind that Longreach regularly puts on that sees the evening out and readies us for a new day. A day that will start with a drive and end with a cruise. Pete's a doer and he's pretty keen to get out and take a look around in the short time that he and Julie have available. Isisford is a sleepy little town on the banks of the Barcoo, about 100 k's from Longreach. The Barcoo is famous for its yellowbelly fishing, and they get pretty big out this way.
How cool is that? It's got the whole nose cone for 172 and they've built back from that. That's bloody clever. And his eyes are the hubcaps of an old Holden. So Dino, you look up there to his top of his pec fin. It's actually the blades of a Southern Cross windmill, the turbine blades.
And they've used some sheet metal there for his body, probably almost the same consistency as eating a real one.
Yeah, but just a shit house.
Yeah.
Rather uncomfortable to eat.
Yeah. It's home to some quaint, original buildings, the kind of things that you don't see these days very much. Like this old bakery.
Mate, I could have a couple of scones with some jam and cream.
You'll be waiting a while for them to bake, old mate.
There we go, O'Brien's flour, mate.
Basically, the main street of town is an interactive museum in which you can almost step back in time. The Barcoo is another river that delivers its goodness into the Lake Air Basin via the Channel Country.
So all this water ends up in Lake Air, which is the lowest point of Australia, and the middle of Jackboot Bay, down there, and Belt Bay in Lake Air is 50 feet below sea level. So that was once an inland sea. And what happens is, because there's so little gradient change between here and Lake Air, for example, we're only 300 or 400 feet above sea level, and it's got all that way to go to get to Lake Air. It's a really low fall. So the water runs very slowly, and therefore it floods, and it takes its time, and it weaves for months to get down to Lake Air. It's fascinating when it's in flood. It's just the most extraordinary country.
Enormous blooms of life, and then, it can be barren again for years.
Well, and Dorothea McKellar put it so well, didn't she? The land of, it's the land of plenty and then the land of nothing. And it just booms and busts.
Yeah.
And that's Australia, and it's been that way for millions of years. It's a remarkable countryside.
Free camping is available along the Barcoo's banks right by town, and it also makes for a great morning tea stop. Gee, it's nice hearing yarns like that on the banks of the Barcoo under a gum tree. I feel like a dinky die Aussie right now. One of the great joys of an outback holiday, I reckon, is the opportunity to feel a sense of space and freedom. The size and scale of our backyard is really hard to describe. You're better off just coming out here and taking it all in. The other thing I love about the Outback pubs. And this one is a beauty and used to be owned by an old mate of mine. Ilfracombe's famous Well-Shot Hotel, a must-stop for the best steak sanger this side of Longreach. Just don't show the calf.
You're just enjoying the sun, aren't you?
Oh, I think so. What are you going to be about to stay for?
But Pete's getting itchy feet, and it's time to crack the whip and head to our overnight accommodation. Saltbush Retreat, as the name suggests, has been inspired by the environment in which it was built. Saltbush tips its hat to explorers and pastoralists of days gone by. The stables are stylishly appointed with slate floors, rainwater shower heads and big, comfortable beds. And the rooms themselves are massive, a really nice place to stay. But I did promise you a cruise to round out the day. Yes, a cruise on a boat in the middle of the outback. Tonight we're catching up with our mate Smithy from Outback Aussie Tours.
This afternoon we're going to see how Longreach was named after the Longreach of the Thomson River Waterhole. Welcome aboard.
He's putting on his famous Thomson River Sunset Cruise, and it looks like we've got quite the afternoon for it. By normal standards for out here, the Thomson River is an enormous body of water. And as you can see, the MV Longreach Explorer is no dinghy. Not listening to me on a phone. Watch how long this takes. Look how long. See how long? On a phone, sunset cruise, and ignoring her husband.
No,
We put that in the show.
no, Peter Gash was sending me
We'll put that in.
photos.
Oh, blame somebody else. Yes, a few beers and some terrific company. This is going to be a brilliant afternoon. For many, this is the highlight of a trip to Longreach, for obvious reasons. But the fun doesn't stop here. Unfortunately, we're going to have to save that for the next episode of Campr.
See you at a party and look the same.
Luminaid is a must-do, and you can contact the Qantas Founders Museum in Longreach for all the info. To book a night at Saltbush Retreat, head to their website. Outback Aussie Tours is the place to go for info on the Thomson River cruise and a bunch of other things that Smithy and his team can offer up if you're heading west. On the next episode of Campr, we cruise into the evening on the Thomson with Smithy and head for a fancy bush dinner and show with all the Outback trimmings. See you then.